Today we are beginning with the chapter 22, Chemical Control and Coordination. In this we'll discuss about the endocrine glands, hormones, different hormones, their origin site, their action. So as you all know about the hormones which you have studied in 10th standard chapter 7, Control and Coordination. In this chapter we are going to discuss about the more hormones and the chapter in an elaborative form. So now just have a look over here on the board. What is endocrinology? It is the branch of science, or we say it is a branch of biology which deals with the study of endocrine glands and their functioning. Means endocrine glands are the glands which are responsible for secretion of hormones. So here we will study about, in endocrinology we study about the study of the endocrine glands and how they function, what hormones they secrete, how the functioning of those hormones occurs. So this all is being studied under endocrinology. Next is the father of endocrinology. His name is Thomas Addison. Thomas Addison is said to be the father of endocrinology. Then what are endocrine glands? Already we know that endocrine glands are the glands which secrete the hormones. And these glands, they are also called as the ductless gland because they don't have their own tubular structures. Like we know that the blood, it flows in arteries, veins and capillaries. That means blood has its own channel. But hormones, they don't have their own channel. Endocrine glands, they pour their secretion directly into the blood. That's why we say that these are ductless glands. They don't have their own channel. They don't have their own duct. They release their secretion or hormones into the blood, and through blood only the hormones travel from the origin site to the target site. So here, look over here, endocrine glands. These are the glands without duct. That is, they pour their secretion directly into the blood, and they are also called as ductless glands. Then coordination in the body of almost all living organisms, we say all higher animals. Okay, coordination in the body of almost all higher animals is controlled by two systems. One is the nervous system and the other is the endocrine system. Nervous system we have already discussed. Okay, so nervous system constitute about the nerves, and nerves are responsible for carrying the impulses or carry the message or information in the form of impulses from sense organs to the muscles. Okay, so next one is the endocrine system. Endocrine system works on the transmission, on the secretion of hormones. Endocrine system secrete hormones. These hormones are released from the endocrine glands, then they are poured into the blood, and from blood they are transferred to the target site, target organ where the action is to be done. Now what is the difference between the nervous system and the endocrine system? Just have a brief look over here. Nervous system, information passes as electrical impulses. We have already discussed the chemical impulses and electrical impulses in the form of the electrical charges, and chemicals, that is acetylcholine. Okay, so chemicals are acetylcholine, and over here in endocrine system the impulses or the information, it passes as the chemical substances through blood and lymph, and these chemical substances are hormones. Now next is that nervous system. Here a rapid transmission of information occurs in the nervous system, as we have discussed that from one node of Ranvier to the next node of Ranvier. That means saltatory conduction of impulses occurs through the nervous system, and within a short time the message is or information is passed to a longer distance. But when we talk about the endocrine system, the information, or we say the hormones, carry the information and they move through the blood. So here we say the transmission is slow. So here slow transmission of information. Next is that in nervous system the immediate response is there, whereas in endocrine system response is slow. Then response is very exact in nervous system because it transfer very fast, and it transfers to the target response site only. Whereas in endocrine system, response is widespread because it is spreading through the, it is transferring through the blood. Then response is short-lived. We are talking about the nervous system, the response is very short-lived, but in endocrine system, the response is long-lasting. Okay, so now these are the differences between the nervous system and endocrine system. Now we proceed further with the topic. So students, in this chapter we are going to discuss about the endocrine system, and we know that endocrine system is responsible for the secretion of hormones. Hormones are the chemicals which are transferred, or which we say they are secreted from the endocrine glands into the blood, and blood carry these hormones to the target's organ where the action is to be done. So this complete chapter is about the hormones only. So before we start with the hormones, first of all we should know that what is hormones. So now just have a brief look over here about the hormones. That the term hormone, it was first coined by Starling and is also called as the primary messenger or chemical messenger. Then hormones are chemicals secreted by the endocrine glands. They are poured directly into the blood and they are carried to the target site where the action is to be taken place. It affects some specific cells only. That means where the action is done, over there only it shows its action. It does not affect the other cells to which it comes in contact with. Next one, the hormones are secreted in very small quantity. Okay, the amount of hormone secretion, it is in very small quantity because they are most reactive substances. Then liver and kidneys, they separate the hormones from the blood because these hormones, they are secreted into the blood. And when their action is completed, they are to be removed from the blood so that there is a control mechanism. And the removal process of hormones from the blood is done by liver and kidneys. So kidney and liver, they separate the hormones from the blood and decompose them. Hormones are decomposed by the kidney and liver only. The product formed after decomposition is excreted with urine. It is removed out of the body along with the urine and it is not reutilized. So hormones do not participate in the metabolic activities of the target cells. Means it does not affect the metabolic activities of the target cell. Now what is the role then? Why hormones are secreted? So here you can see that the hormones, they do not participate in the metabolic activities of the cell, but they affect and control the activity level of these target cells. They affect the controlling system. They does not interfere in the metabolic activities, but they play or they act as a controlling system. They control the activities of the cell. Due to the effect of hormones, not only the rate of metabolic activities is affected, means where metabolic activities affected of the target site or target cell, but also the permeability of the cell membrane is changed. The cell membrane of the target cell permeability also changes. So the nature of the reaction also changes. So once again, just have a look over here that liver and kidneys separate the hormones from the blood and they decompose these hormones. The product which is formed after decomposition is excreted out from the body through urine. Then as it cannot be reutilized. Then hormones do not participate in the metabolic activities of the target cell, but they affect and control the activity level of these target cells. Due to the effect of the hormones, not only the rate of metabolic activities is affected, but also the permeability of the cell membrane is changed, so that the nature of the reaction which is to be taken place, it also changes. So now this is about the hormones. Now we'll proceed further the topic. Now here we begin with the human endocrine system or human endocrine glands. These human endocrine system consists of endocrine glands and hormones. Endocrine glands secretes the hormones. So now hormones, they are secreted from one gland, may stimulate or increases the activity as well as decreases the activity. So we say that the hormones secreted from one gland, they may stimulate or activates or inhibit another endocrine glands. So now what are the different types of human endocrine system or glands present in the human body? One is the pure endocrine glands, the other are the partial endocrine glands. Now what are pure endocrine glands? That means they secrete hormones. Entirely work for the secretion of hormones are the pure endocrine glands. And these glands are, for example, we have hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, pineal body, parathyroid, adrenal, pancreas. Pancreas has two regions, adrenal and the cortex region. Adrenal pancreas, or we say the adrenal part of the pancreas, is entirely pure endocrine, whereas the cortex pancreas is exocrine because it secretes the secretions which helps in digestion. Pancreatic juice are released by the cortical pancreas. Now next one is thymus gland and gonads. Gonads here means the reproductive organs. In male it is testes and in female it is ovaries. Now next we talk about the partial endocrine glands. These are partially endocrine and partly they are exocrine. That means sometimes they behave as endocrine, they secrete the hormones, and then they also secrete the secretions, or we say enzymes, which helps in the different activities. For example, kidneys, liver, gastrointestinal tract, heart, placenta. They are exocrine as well as they are endocrine, so they comes under partial exocrine glands. Now we discuss the different endocrine glands, their secretions, hormones and their functioning. Now students, here we begin with the major endocrine system. First of all, we'll discuss about the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, we have already discussed that it is a part of the central nervous system, that is the brain part, that it is located in the forebrain. Okay, and this hypothalamus, it plays a major important role in endocrine system because it controls the activities of the pituitary gland, and pituitary gland control the activities of all the major endocrine glands present in the body. So that means it is the controlling part, controlling center of all the endocrine glands, because it controls the pituitary gland and pituitary gland controls all the different endocrine glands present in the body. Now just have a look over here. Hypothalamus, it is located in the basal part of the forebrain, regulate various activities in the body. It is composed of nervous tissue because it is a part of the brain, that is the forebrain, so it is composed of nervous tissue. It is connected with the anterior lobe of pituitary gland by hypophyseal portal blood vessels. That means hypothalamus is connected to the pituitary gland, anterior lobe of the pituitary gland by hypophyseal portal blood vessel, and to the posterior part of the pituitary gland through axons of its neurons. Then complete endocrine system, it works more or less under the influence of hypothalamus. Hypothalamus have several groups of neurosecretory cells which produce hormones. The function of hormones secreted by hypothalamus is to regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary hormone. That means hypothalamus control the activity of pituitary gland and pituitary gland control the activities of all the different endocrine glands. Now we just have a look over here, the hormones secreted by hypothalamus. Now here students, we look over here at the hormones secreted by the hypothalamus. Okay, two types of hormones are secreted by hypothalamus. One is which stimulates the secretion of hormones and the other one is which inhibits the secretion of hormones. So we call them as the releasing hormone and inhibiting hormones. Releasing hormone stimulates pituitary gland to secrete the pituitary hormones, whereas inhibiting hormone stops the secretion of the hormones from the pituitary gland. Now just look over here that releasing hormones, they stimulate secretion of pituitary hormones. Inhibiting hormone inhibits the release of pituitary hormone. These hormones, they originate from the hypothalamic neurons. That means the neurons, because hypothalamus consists of nervous tissue and they contain the neurons. So these hormones, inhibiting hormones, are released from the neurons of the hypothalamus, which passes through the axon. That means these hormones passes through the axon and are released from their nerve endings. So these hormones, they act on the anterior pituitary. Inhibiting hormones, they act on the anterior pituitary, and the posterior pituitary functions under the direct regulation of hypothalamus. So anterior pituitary works by the action of these hormones which passes through the nervous tissue, that is through axon, then to the nerve endings, and posterior pituitary function directly under the regulation of the hypothalamus. Now we go for the first, this was the hypothalamus, and now we'll discuss about the pituitary gland and the hormones secreted by the pituitary gland. Now here the first gland which we are going to discuss is about the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is also called as hypophysis. Okay, pituitary gland control over the activities of all the endocrine glands. So this gland is called as the master gland. And we just now had discussed that pituitary gland activities are controlled by hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is called as the master of master gland. Master gland is the pituitary gland, and pituitary gland is controlling the activities. The pituitary gland's activities are controlled by hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is called as the master of master gland. Now pituitary gland is divided into three major regions. The outer one is called as anterior, then the middle one is intermediate, and the inner one the posterior. So these three regions are categorized into, or we say these three lobes, they are categorized into two regions. The first one is constitute the anterior and the intermediate. Together they are called as adenohypophysis. And the posterior one is called as the neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis is further consists of two different regions. One is called as the pars distalis and the other one is called as pars intermedia. Pars distalis, it resembles the anterior part. Pars intermedia resembles the intermediate part of the pituitary gland. And neurohypophysis relates with the posterior part. Now just have a look over here once again. Pituitary gland is called as hypophysis. It is the smallest and very important endocrine gland. Directly or indirectly control the activities of all the endocrine glands of the body, and so it is called as the master gland. Hypothalamus controls the activities of pituitary gland, so hypothalamus is called as the master of master gland. It is reddish grey in brown. Pituitary gland is reddish grey in color and is oval in shape. It is the size of a pea seed. It is about the size of a pea seed, and pituitary gland is located in a small bony cavity in a brain, and this bony cavity is called as sella turcica. Pituitary gland is anatomically, that means internally, when we go for its division, it is divided into three lobes: anterior, intermediate and posterior. Anterior and intermediate lobes, these together they forms the adenohypophysis region, and posterior lobe forms the neurohypophysis region. Adenohypophysis region is divided into two regions further. They are this pars distalis and pars intermedia. So So here we have discussed about the brief discussion about the pituitary gland. Now we'll discuss about the hormones which are released by the pituitary gland. Now here students, we discuss about the hormones of the pituitary gland. So see here, first region of pituitary gland is the adenohypophysis, which is a glandular anterior portion of the pituitary gland, and it consists of two parts, pars distalis and pars intermedia. This we have already discussed earlier. Now what pars distalis is also called as the anterior pituitary, and the hormones secreted by pars distalis we'll discuss first, then we'll discuss about the pars intermedia, and then we'll discuss about the neurohypophysis. So first of all, we are discussing about the hormones secreted by the pars distalis, and the first hormone secreted by pars distalis is the growth hormone, always represented by GH. It is also called as somatotropic hormone, STH, or somatotrophin. Growth hormone, you have already known that this growth hormone is responsible for increasing the height of the organism or human body. That means when the main reason of increase in the height is the increase in the length of the bones. So this growth hormone, it acts on the skeleton system, it acts on the bones and helps in increasing the length of the bones. As a result, the size or height of the organism or human beings increases. Now just have a look over here. This growth hormone, it controls the body growth by controlling the growth of the skeleton. When this hormone is secreted in excess or it is secreted in less quantity, it causes disorders, because secretion of hormones is required to be in a very minimum amount. So when here we discuss about the disorders, the first disorder is dwarfism. As the name here, it easily denotes that dwarfism means the shortening of the height. Means when during childhood the growth hormone is not secreted properly, then the growth of the child does not take place and the height of the child does not increases, and the height of the child, it remains near about 4 feet or less than 4 feet. So that person is called as dwarf. So now see here, dwarfism is caused due to deficiency of growth hormone in childhood. Dwarfism is caused due to deficiency of growth hormone in childhood, and the body height is less than 4 feet or 48 inches. Then second one is giantism. Giantism itself, it shows that the giant height. Okay, that means the we say that unnormal height. Okay, abnormal height, abnormal increase in the height of the person, which is more than the normal, and this is due to the excess secretion of growth hormone during the childhood time. So here it is caused due to the excess secretion of growth hormone in the children, and body height is more than 7 feet or 84 inches. Then the third one is acromegaly. Acromegaly is the condition where the growth hormones are secreted in excess in the adults. Dwarfism and giantism, this is caused during the childhood, and now this acromegaly is caused in adults due to excess secretion of growth hormone. As a result, what will happen? The jaw and the joint, they appear to be more strong, broad. Okay, so this acromegaly is caused due to excess secretion of growth hormones in adults, which results in thickening of joints and jaw bones. Due to this thickening, these joints and jaw bones becomes broad. Next one is the Simon disease. Simon disease is caused in adults due to deficiency of growth hormone. Here in adults, the growth hormone is secreted very less, or there is a deficiency of growth hormone. As a result, what will happen? The person undergoes premature aging. That means before the age, the person appears to be more old. So this is called as premature aging, that occurs in Simon disease. Just have a look. It is caused due to the deficiency of growth hormones in adults, resulting the premature aging. So these are the 4 disorders which are caused due to growth hormone deficiency or in excess. Dwarfism and Gigantism. This is caused during childhood. Dwarfism is caused when growth hormone is secreted in less quantity. Gigantism is caused when growth hormones are secreted in more or in excess during the childhood. Acromegaly is the stage when growth hormone in adults they are secreted in excess, due to which thickening of joints and jaw bones occurs. Simon disease is caused when the growth hormone in adult is secreted less, or we say there is a deficiency of growth hormone, and this results in premature aging. Now this is about the hormone, growth hormone, which is called as the somatotropic hormone or somatotropin.